So just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the bottom of your coccyx, from the base of the spine, all the way up through the spine to the crown of the head. Somebody's at the crown of your head, very gently lengthening your spine. The head is slightly tipped forward. And the eyes are down. So whether they're open or closed, the eyes are still down. So the very advanced meditators will have their eyes slightly open, but I think for us, when we're at this level, we can probably best to keep them closed. And then if you find you're falling asleep, you can just crack your eyes open a little bit. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw. And make sure your head is tipped slightly forward, your chin is slightly down, not too far down, otherwise you'll be falling asleep, and not too far tipped back, otherwise that you will notice that it causes a curve in the neck and it creates agitation in the mind. So you want the neck nice and long. So now let's just bring the mind to the crown of the head. Just relax the crown and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, and the jaw. And the temples and the ears. And then go to the back of the head. And just relax that. It's part of the scalp, the neck, the shoulders. And if you do have any areas in the spine that are tense, just go to that spot and try and relax it. And come to the front and relax your throat, chest, belly, arms, legs, fingers, hands and fingers, legs, your feet and your toes. And let's just bring the mind to the breath. And as you're breathing in, just notice this cool sensation of the air flowing over the nostrils as you're breathing in, the slightly warmer sensation as you're breathing out. And as we do just a wee motivation. So we're just going to do this practice of Vajrasattva tonight in order to purify some of our negative karma, so we are no longer suffering in the future. So just imagine there is no negativity that cannot be purified. So this purification process that we're doing is basically a psychological one. So we're going to be purifying tonight in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And the first of these is the power of regret. So we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything we have done to any living being to harm them today, yesterday, last week, last month. Just think of something specific that you've done. And then think of specific actions of both the body, or speech, just whatever comes to mind. And then anything that you probably can't remember, just generally regret. And so we just remind ourselves the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. So understanding that having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And so we don't want to have this suffering. So what we do is we try and pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen into suffering. So just think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. Just think, I am sick of the suffering. So also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are cause of why we harm others. And you think again, I'm sick of this suffering. Then think, who can I turn to? What can I do about it? And here we come to the power of reliance. So here you rely on the Buddha. This is where we take refuge. And the doctor, who is the methods that we can use to purify. So it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his methods. So we just visualize Guru Vajrasattva above the crown of our heads, facing the same direction as us. You can also imagine he's the mind of your Guru, manifesting in this way for your benefit. So you just imagine this, what we're seeing on the screen is, like a two-dimensional painting, tanka painting. But what you imagine on the crown of your head is this kind of dynamic, luminous figure, almost like a hologram, but made of this blissful light, floating in space above you, about 2 inches above the crown of your head. And he's sitting in this cross-legged position. And he's wearing these beautiful robes, these silk scarves, and these like silken pants. And you can see he's got jewelry on his hands, around his neck and his ears and crown. And it would be made of gold, but in light, sparkling and maybe floating, blowing in the wind. There's his beautiful eyes, radiant face. They call them these lotus-like eyes. It's full of love and compassion. He's got this sweet red mouth, and he has black hair held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed to his heart, the left underneath the right. Left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra representing the indestructibility of compassion. And there being crossed represents the union of these two. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we come to this little section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, firstly, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone that you may have harmed recently, today, yesterday, last week, last month, and maybe someone you harmed a long time ago, and perhaps people that you've harmed that you don't realize that you've harmed. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm that they've caused you is going to necessarily ripen in the future, suffering for them, obstacles, problems. So you must purify for their sake. So next we come to the power of the remedy. So this is the actual medicine, the doing of the practice of purification. So the first is a purification of the body. So just imagine that Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, sort of pouring from him, from his heart, and it arcs around, it enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. So just imagine it keeps coming and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of this kind of inky liquid, which pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left. And we feel completely purified as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Supokaya Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Supokaya Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So now be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body has been completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others with your body. Just how amazing is that? The next is the purification of the speech. So again, Guru Vajrasattva sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and fills you completely, except this time it fills you up, and from the bottom, all the negativities of your speech kind of float up, and this kind of gunky stuff just kind of is forced out of the top part of your body, or top orifices of your body. There's all the negativity of your speech, and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech, talking badly about others behind their backs, and all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you, the power of this nectar. And we recite the mantra as we visualize this. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me be yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho abagawan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supakaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me be yata sawa kama sutta me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So now again, feel so happy that your speech is completely purified, and imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than be of benefit to others with your speech. So just imagine that when they hear your voice, it's of enormous benefit to them. Everything that falls out of your mouth is like a pearl of wisdom, a healing pearl of wisdom for people. Imagine that. Next is the purification of the mind. So third, Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of laser light this time from his heart chakra. And this arcs around, enters your heart chakra. So just imagine the moment that the light hits your heart, or instantly all the negativities of the mind are dispelled. So all your attachment and neediness, anger, aggression, and bitterness and jealousy, and grasping and wanting and hankering after things, anxiety, and this feeling of not being enough, not being good enough, not being enough for others, all instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dina mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dira mebowa, sutokaya mebowa, supokaya mebowa, anarakta mebowa, sawasidi mempe yata sawa kama sutta me, sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita, Dira mebowa, sutokaya mebowa, supokaya mebowa, Anarakta mebowa sabasidi mempe yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dira mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mempe yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dira mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mempe yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dira mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mempe yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dira mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So now again be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and speech, are totally purified, completely gone. And then think, there is no space in your heart for anything other now than love and wisdom, compassion and bliss. So next is a purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So again, we can imagine the Guru Vajrasattva is sending out nectar and light at the same time simultaneously. Or you can imagine the previous 3 visualizations of the body, speech, and mind, whichever is easiest for you. And so as this light and nectar comes, it fills you completely and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negativity, of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So the 4th step in this purification process, and such a crucial step, is this determination to not harm with our body, speech, and mind again. So without this, we're going to keep falling into the same old habits, the same old patterns. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm again is like a beacon that guides us, our body, our speech, and our mind. It kind of sets us off into new directions. And as Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, everything exists on the tip of the wish, this aspiration. So then let's just think something that we might like to work on. Maybe it's our speech. Maybe we, I don't know, swear all the time. Maybe we talk about others behind their back. I think as Venerable Robina keeps reminding us, he seems to be the one that we all do quite a lot. So maybe we just make a vow to ourselves to refrain from gossiping. Because when we do that, we're actually creating the cause for it to happen to us. People talk about us behind our back. And also gossiping and rabbiting on about nothing creates the cause for people not to listen to our words, not to take us seriously, which is very painful. To just make a determination, even for the next 8 hours while we're sleeping, or 1 second or 5 minutes, just make a determination. Maybe we'll say, okay, while I'm doing my prayers, or while I'm doing the washing up, or while I'm doing X, Y, and Z, I won't be talking about other people behind their back, or whatever it is we're going to do. And so this determination, it's like when Ravina's been saying recently, just make a choice. Just decide. Just decide, I'm going to refrain from this. So easy. So to conclude, just imagine Guru Vajrasattva is really delighted with us. So wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into white light and just kind of dissolves into you through the crown of your head. You think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. LAMA YESHE used to call this union or oneness. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche recommends meditate on the emptiness with 3 circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So just place your mind in emptiness for a while, in whatever level you understand emptiness. So perhaps we think of all phenomena as being empty. They don't exist from their own side. Perhaps we can see things as a dependent arising. So we can see the progression of how events took place. And then maybe just because of the way our body is constructed, we're not really seeing things the way they actually exist. So just one way of trying to break down our concrete view of things, concrete understanding of things. Okay, so let's... Gosh, Mary, we've got a little bit of time. Let's do the 4 immeasurables. All right. Thank you. Immeasurable equanimity. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in equanimity, free from the closeness of attachment and the distance of hatred. May they abide in equanimity. I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. Immeasurable loving kindness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to achieve Buddhahood. May they achieve Buddhahood. I myself will cause them to achieve Buddhahood. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And immeasurable compassion. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And immeasurable joyfulness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation. May they never be separated from these. I myself will cause them never to be separated from these. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. In this little prayer here, as a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may bodhicitta, from which the happiness of all sentient beings comes, be generated in the minds of self and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second, and that which has been generated, may it increase. So let's just go to the long life prayers. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. For Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honoring the 3 jewels, savor of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. And for Lama Ursal, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. So there we go. Oh, Geshe Sherab, I'm sorry. Sorry, Geshe. Geshe-la, beloved teacher, leading your students towards wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. So lovely to see you all this evening. And do take care. And I look forward to seeing you again on Tuesday. Some of you in the morning and some of you in the evening.